Life as a spirit. No real way to describe spirit life once souls enter and pass through sacred gates that shut tightly behind them. Much of the spirit knowledge is forbidden to fall into the hands of mortals and guarded by spirits of the highest order. Nevertheless, some tidbits, as found on these pages, are allowed out of the sanctified halls where no flesh or matter of any sort can enter. Not all spirits can go into the hallowed halls unless invited to come in by the supreme of the superbeings. Supreme beings have spotless spirits, having never been marred and blemished by the matrix of matter that exists only by their very command to exist. Supreme beings have existed in the same spiritualized state forever and can never change. They give life to everything in existence simply by their existence. Their numbers are unknown by all beings but themselves. Their numbers will never increase or decrease. Therefore, no souls can enter into their council, and are forever sealed inside of their incorruptible assembly at the apex of each universe. Superbeings can enter sanctified regions near where the council of supreme beings resides, for durations of their choosing. Only select souls know where that place of unequaled grandeur is. Isolated somewhere in the vastness of the never-ending cosmic universe and tagged in the ever-present structure of atoms that serve as a base for cosmic awareness. I had entered the terrain of superbeings. Having embraced the process that began shortly after my arrival on the planet, from which I have since moved, and embraced by my cohorts from previous lives who had climbed to the pinnacle of awareness for our types of souls, ages before me. I was not yet a superbeing, which required other journeys into the cosmic fray. My temporary physical body evaporated, and my spirit released into the wondrous halls of celestial purity. I have exited the planet and the star system that prepared me for this profound transformation, and I now resided in a place of true magnificence and grandeur unparalleled in the human imagination. I was nowhere near being a superbeing yet but was eternally grateful at having been asked to enter one of the lower exclusive zones, where all souls in the universe yearn to be, which was privilege enough for me. My exclusive position gave me access to knowledge unavailable to souls, not inside of this enclave of near absolute awareness, which was only a shard of the awareness surrounding the supreme beings. Nevertheless, the fragment of knowledge granted to me weighed heavy on my soul, and I could hardly imagine bearing the full weight of what the supreme beings held inside of their collective wisdom. Heavy on my soul didn't equate to feeling bad. I was in perpetual bliss, and it made me feel guilty, unworthy of having such privileges laid upon me. Feelings of guilt passed quickly, and ecstasy flooded my soul as I contemplated all the things I could now do and would do in my new position. I had access to massive amounts of material about everything knowable, outside of the conclave of deep knowledge available only to the supreme beings. I learned that the supreme beings were not souls and were unknowable, enigmatic, unfathomable, profound, mysterious, perplexing, confounding, bewildering, and impenetrable. Nevertheless, there was no place in the universe I was exempt from others that the incorruptible council. I could go anywhere and indulge in anything and any activity I wished to indulge in, physical or spirit. I was above the gods, who shepherded the galaxies and star systems and all the life forces therein. Gods who often sought me out or others as myself for counsel, advice, guidance, favors, vengeance, and plague, against their perceived or real adversaries. I had the power to give them all that they asked and wished for, without any reservations and any potential repercussions to myself or them, if I so chose to exempt them. That was such mind-boggling power and never fell into the wrong hands, but only used by the spirit beings that have attained to these astronomical levels. I could allow the gods to take vengeance if I so desired and directed them to do so on my behalf when I believed it judicious and practical. I could and did allow common humans and other similar physical low-caste beings any of their wishes and desires, including vengeance and spells they wished placed on others of their caste and status. Every request came with a price, and I was the one who set the price. Vengeance cost the perpetrators, the requesters, more trouble than the requesters bargained, and invited into their lives much of the same, and additionally, opened doors that brought them more repeated lives. The severity of the plague placed on others and the repercussions and consequences brought on by such requests to the bearer, the initiator of the deeds, brought forth vengeful fruit. Humans and others of the lower world seldom asked if there was a cost to their hatefulness and treachery against others. And I would only discover that there was, during their interviews, after they died or sometimes before in their dreams where I talked to them. Often I met people inside my magical carriages, UFOs, while they remained alive and under the curse of constant scrutiny. I summoned the people or their souls from the worlds they existed on throughout the galaxies, and that resided in my domain and brought them into my presence for a conference. Terror is what they beheld and experienced in my presence. Until or unless I freed them from such horrific restraints. Knowledge suitable to their understanding I imparted to them. Often to be digested over days, weeks, months, and years, depending on their level of acceptance of the information and material I imparted to them. Some people rejected the advice and information and continued in their darkness and madness, having been clueless of where that annoying information originated. Which was their choice to do, and eventually suffer for their continued neglect, with repeated darkness inside of their physical lives and souls. I scanned the cosmic energy waves where souls in the physical realms placed their desires and prayers to the gods, and where such pleas were heard by other beings with the ability to hear such requests. Beings in the spirit realms of both good and evil. It was a massive field that encompassed segments of the universe inside a cloud of energy, emanating out of massive numbers of souls, from enormous amounts of planets, residing inside of colossal quantities of galaxies. Multitudes of spirits as myself toiled endlessly in barren fields and tilled, plowed, nurtured, and fulfilled the massive wants and needs, crying out to us from inside the soul zones. I retrieved and responded to requests by the hordes of physical beings, who placed desires out there,